In the 23rd century, the galaxy is shining brightly, and countless galaxies are illuminated by humans. Around the Silver River, an old shipping ship, Star, is shuttled across the starry waterway. Chenghan sat in the driving wheel, his eyes a little tired, and a series of data were jumping on the control panel in front of him. He is just an ordinary international cargo operator. His daily job is to deliver goods from one starport to another. His life is as dull as a pool of stagnant water. "Hey, Chenghan, don't be stupid. Have you confirmed the goods list?" The voice of colleague Lao Li was transmitted from the communication device, with a little teasing. Chenghan curled his lips and knocked on the earphone. "It's been confirmed long ago, don't urge me. This batch of goods is just some mines, nothing special. You can get the job done by sending it to Caring Port." "Hey, you kid don't have a big ambition? You know how to deliver goods all day long, and don't see how big the Star Sea is, how many legends are waiting for people to write." Old Li smiled and talked. "Great ambition." Chenghan leaned on the seat, staring at the starry sky outside the window, and his language was filled with some self-deprecating. "I just want to find the whereabouts of my father. I was only 10 years old when they lost my head, and I didn't leave any trace. How could I have the intention to be a hero?" Old Li was silent for a while and sighed. "Okay, brother, don't think too much. When this mission is over, we will go to Chenghan bar for a drink. I'll ask. Trade." Chenghan smiled and was about to close the communication. The flight's police system suddenly rose sharply. "Warning! Warning!" An unknown fleet was detected ahead, and the energy fluctuations were abnormal, and it was suspected to be a maritime ship. The sound of the mechanical sound returned coldly inside the driving. Chenghan sat up straight, his eyes tightened, and his fingers quickly operated on the control panel. On the screen, several black ships were quickly approaching, and the skull marks were sprayed on his body. "Old Li, the situation is wrong, it's a foul." Chenghan shouted at the communication device. "Change and adjust the route tightly, we have to run." "Run? Run? Their firepower is 10 times stronger than ours. How can the broken ship of Stars run like this?" Old Li's voice was filled with anxiety. "Chenghan, listen, we score and run, you drive the main ship, I'll go to attract firepower." "No! You're looking for death." Chenghan gritted his teeth and held the Sten in his hand. "Don't waste your time. My Old Li is very tough. You kid and your family are looking for him, so don't die here." Old Li's voice continued, and then there was only quiet noise left in the communication device. Chenghan felt nervous and saw through the porthole that the subship that Old Li drove really deviated from the route and rushed straight to the sea and raided. In less than a few seconds, several hot laser cannon fire tore the subship to pieces and turned into a group of fireballs. "Old Li!" Chenghan had both eyes and punched his fist hard on the console. He knew he had no time to be sad and had to run away. He pushed the acceleration rod sharply, and the stars made a heavy thunder sound, heading towards the nearest stone belt. But the speed of the sea thunderbolt was far beyond his imagination. Several ships quickly surrounded the energy of the main gun and began to accumulate energy, locking the star. "It's over." Chenghan gritted his teeth, and countless thoughts flashed through his brain. He was unwilling to die in this cold sea of stars. The truth about his family's missing was not found yet. How could he fall down? At this moment, a strange signal suddenly flashed on the radar screen. Chenghan looked down and found a hidden energy source deep in the stone belt, and the signal was extremely strong. "What is this?" he murmured, almost subconsciously adjusting the course towards the energy source. The gunfire of the sea raid ship came by, and an energy cannon swept over the ship of the stars, shaking the entire driving force. Chenghan clenched his teeth and forced the flying boat into the stone belt. The dense limes became a natural barrier, temporarily blocking the pursuit of the sea. He finally saw the true face of the energy source, a abandoned space warship, all in silver, and the lines were as flowing as an artwork, with 3 words engraved on the body: "The Blade of Time and Space." Blade of Time and Space? Chenghan was stunned for a moment, and a saying that he had heard when he was a child suddenly appeared in his brain. This was a legendary warship with time control capabilities. It used to be a time patrol team, but it missed a few decades ago. I can't care about that much, so survive first. Chenghan quickly connected to the system and found that although this warship looked deserted, the energy core was still moving. He finally let go of the abandoned star sign and climbed the blade of time and space through the emergency passage. As soon as I entered the driving, a cold mechanical sound echoed. A new user was detected. The identity verification was underway. The verification was passed, the time and space blade system was activated, and the commander was welcomed to the officer. Chenghan did not react yet, and the holographic screen in front of him lit up, showing the data of the warship. Time module? What's this? He said to himself, but he didn't think about it. Because the raid team had already chased him, several energy cannons directly hit the shield of the time and space blade, shaking the driving force to shake. Warning! The shield energy has dropped to 70%, please counter it immediately. The system prompt sounds up. Chenghan gritted his teeth, and quickly operated his fingers on the control panel, activating the main gun system. A hot beam of light shot out and hit a Sea Raider, blowing it to pieces. This firepower is too strong. Chenghan was surprised after flashing in his eyes, but the number of Sea Raid teams was actually too large, and the shield energy quickly dropped to a dangerous value. No, if this continues, it will be over. He swept the screen and his eyes fell on that time module. Although he didn't know what this was, he thought that this might be his only way to live. Fight! Chenghan gritted his teeth and pressed the start button. The time module is activated, the time lock mode is activated, lasting time, 5 seconds. The mechanical sound starts coldly. The next moment, Chenghan could hardly believe his eyes. The entire battleground seemed to have been pressed down, the artillery fire of the sea pirates solidified in midair, and the floating of the stones was completely calm. He was stunned for 2 seconds before he reacted that it was time to be destroyed. This is too amazing. Chenghan's heartbeat accelerated, quickly adjusting the angle of the main gun to target the core flag of the enemy's team. 5 seconds passed in a flash. At the moment when the time resumed flow, several energy cannons rushed out at the same time, tearing the flag into pieces directly. The lost command of the Sea Scoundrel team fell into chaos for a while. Chenghan seized the opportunity, drove the blade of time and space out of the stone belt, and quickly jumped to the safe area. Huh! I'm alive. He leaned against the seat, gasping heavily, and a difficult feeling of suppression surged in his heart. This warship has such a capability that is beyond imagination. At this moment, the communication system suddenly echoed a cold female voice. I am a member of the Time Patrol team, and I detected the time and space blade signal. Please respond immediately. Chenghan was stunned and hurriedly opened his mouth. I am Chenghan. I just escaped from the pursuit of the siege, and I am now in a safe area. Chenghan? The other party's verb was filled with surprise. How can the blade of time and space be in your hands? This warship is the highest secret of the patrol team. I don't know either. Chenghan slammed his head and briefly explained his just experience. After a moment of silence, Ching opened her mouth. It seems that you are the selected person. Chenghan, on behalf of the Time Patrol team, I formally invite you to join us. The time and space blade in your hands bears the important task of protecting the timelines of the universe. Protecting the timeline? What does this mean? Chenghan was puzzled. In simple terms, timelines are the foundation of the universe. Once tampered with, history will be chaotic and even cause the entire galaxy to collapse. Ching's voice was cold and severe. The mission of our patrol team is to prevent any attempt to destroy timelines, such as the leader of the stars in the sea. He has been looking for the blade of time and space, hoping to use its power to modify history and make personal gain. Chenghan was stunned when he heard this, and his brain was still digesting this information. Ching continued, I know this is abrupt for you, but you have activated the blade of time and space to show that you have the potential to be one of us. Join us and you can not only master the full power of this warship, but also find the traces to miss your family. Family? Chenghan raised his head suddenly, with a flash of hope flashing in his eyes. Do you know where my father is? I can't guarantee it, but the patrol team's information network is full of galaxies, and I may be able to help you. Ching's voice sounded a little softer. How about it? Think about it. Chenghan looked down at the holographic image of the time and space blade turning slowly on the control panel, and his heart was filled with mixed feelings. He never thought he would go into such an adventure, but the warship, such power, and family's ropes, everything was beyond his control. Okay, I'll join, he finally gritted his teeth. Smart choice. A smile appeared in Ching's voice. Send you a seat and go to the patrol base immediately. I will wait for you there to introduce our rules and enemies. Also, the time control ability of the time and space blade is very dangerous. Don't use it before training, understand? I understand. Chenghan clicked the head, tapped the screen with his finger, and received the coordinates. The engine of the flying ship started again, and the blade of time and space turned into a silver light and disappeared into the vast sea of stars. Chenghan looked at the starry sky outside the porthole, and his heart was both tight and anticipated. He knew that from this moment on his life would change. And this sea of stars still has countless challenges and secrets waiting for him to unveil. The engine of the blade of time and space was low, and the silver-white body rolled a stream of light in the sea of stars. Chenghan sat in the driving wheel, holding the stent tightly, and his eyes were locked on the holographic navigation diagram in front of him. The coordinates from Nauching point to a secret space station along the Silver River Galaxy, which is the secret base of the Time Patrol team. His heart beat a little faster, and his brain was full of the words that Yang Qing mentioned in the message: guarding time lines, time control, and family lines. System, are you planning to arrive? Chenghan asked in a low voice, with a tight slit in the sound. Predicted arrival time, 30 minutes. The space jump is ready to go. Will it be executed immediately? The mechanical sound of the blade of time and space rose coldly. Execute. Chenghan ordered. The next second, the space around the warship seemed to be torn apart, and a blue light circle wrapped around the ship. Then the entire flying ship disappeared from its original place and reappeared in a strange star field. Through the porthole, Chenghan saw a huge ring-shaped space station floating in the depths of the starry sea, with dozens of warships of various shapes surrounding it. The surface of the space station is engraved with complex symbols, emitting a dark blue light, which looks both mysterious and full of pressure. Is this the base of the Time Patrol team? Chenghan murmured, unable to help but take a few more glances. The communication device resounded again, and Ching's voice came. Chenghan, your signal has been detected. Adjust the course and enter the parking area number 3, and I will wait for you there. Received. Chenghan responded and carefully operated the warship to approach the space station. The time and space blades docked stably under the guidance of the guide system. When the door opened, a cold wind came over, smearing the unique smell of metal and energy devices. Chenghan walked out of the door and saw a woman in black fighting suit. She is tall, has short hair and is so brisk that she can see through everything. An energy dagger was hanging around her waist, and the badge on her shoulder was engraved with the Time Patrol logo and inverted hourglass. You're Chenghan? Ching looked him up and down, with a few reviews in her language. It looks more ordinary than I thought. Chenghan slammed his head and smiled a little embarrassedly. Well, I'm just a shipping provider, nothing special. But the time and space blade in my hands shouldn't be too bad, right? Ching snorted lightly and turned around toward the inside of the space station. There is a reason for the time and space blade to choose you. But the power of this warship is far beyond your imagination. If you want to drive it, it is not enough to rely on luck. Come with me, and I will give you a basic test first. Chenghan hurriedly followed, looking around. The inside of the space station is like a huge hive, with no channel intersecting. Often, patrol members come, some are trying to fight the battleship, and some analyze data in front of the holographic screen. There was a tight and efficient atmosphere in the air, which made him unable to help but put away his just relaxation. The two came to a training room, with a huge simulated battle platform in the center, surrounded by holographic projection equipment. Ching walked to the console and knocked it for a few seconds. A sea of virtual stars appeared on the platform, and there were several models of enemy ships. This is a simulated training field to test your reaction ability and control of the time and space blade. Ching turned to him, her eyes harshly. Your warship has time to control, but this power is extremely dangerous. If you are not careful, it will cause time contradictions and even cause the collapse of the entire galaxy. Therefore, before you officially execute your mission, you must first master the basic time skills. Chenghan pointed a little, although he felt a little stressed, but he was more expectant. He boarded the simulation and the familiar driving interface came into his eyes, as if he was back to the driving of the time and space blade. The first lesson, time is a slap. Ching's voice was transmitted through the communications machine. You should have activated this function accidentally before, but that is the system's automatic protection mechanism. Now, you need to learn active control. There are 3 enemy ships on the simulation field, and they will attack you within 10 seconds. You need to enlarge the time before they open fire, and then adjust the position to counter. Get it? I understand. Chenghan took a deep breath and his eyes locked the enemy on the screen. As the simulation began, the 3 enemy ships quickly approached and the muzzle energy began to accumulate energy. He quickly found the control button of the time module, recalling the previous experience in the stone belt, and pressed his fingers slightly tremblingly. The time module is activated, the time lock mode is activated, lasting time, 3 seconds. The sound of the mechanical sound came, and everything around it was indeed calm. Chenghan quickly adjusted the position of the warship and prepared a counterattack against one of the enemy's main guns. However, 3 seconds passed in a flash, and he did not have time to open the fire. The time flow resumed, and the enemy's artillery fire directly rushed, imitating the inside of the warning sound. Failed. Ching's voice was cold. Your reaction is too slow, and the time is not for you to be lazy. Although 3 seconds is short, it is enough to allow you to complete a precise hit. Come again. Chenghan gritted his teeth, wiped his sweat, and returned to training. This time, he predicted the enemy's attacking trap in advance, and locked his target at the moment of the locking time, successfully destroying an enemy. Although he was finally hit by the other 2 ships, Yu Qing's temperament was a little calmer. It's okay, there's progress. But remember, there's no chance for you to come back at the battle. In the next few hours, Chenghan repeatedly practiced the use of time, gradually moving from being busy and familiar with it. He found that the key to time is not to continue time, but to make the most effective decisions in the shortest time. Every successful counterattack gave him a deeper understanding of the power of the time and space blade, and he also added more confidence in his potential. Okay, you've been forced to get over the basics. Yanqing turned off the simulation system and walked to him. The next step is an advanced skill, time backtracking. This is the core ability of the Blade of Time and Space, which allows you to go back to a certain point in the past in a short time, and use it to correct the battlefield mistakes. But this skill has a high requirement for mental power, and if you are not careful, it will cause a breakdown in your consciousness and even cause time contradictions. Chenghan heard it tightly, but he still said, I understand, teach me. Looking at his calm eyes, Yanqing turned on the simulation system without saying anything more. This time, the difficulty of the battle increased significantly, with the number of enemy ships increasing to 5 ships, and the attack rate was faster. Chenghan was hit almost as soon as he opened the scene, and the red light flash inside the simulated roller showed that the warfare damage rate reached 70%. Return the time to start, concentrate and imagine which time you want to go back. Ching's voice sounded, remember, you can only go back to the last 10 seconds. If you exceed this range, the system will automatically close to protect your consciousness. Chenghan closed his eyes and recalled the scene of the battle in his brain, forcing himself to focus on the moment when he opened. Suddenly, a strong sense of dizziness came, as if the whole world was twisting. He gritted his teeth and held back. When he opened his eyes again, he found that the battle scene had indeed returned to 10 seconds ago, and the enemy had not started attacking. Success! Chenghan was happy, quickly adjusted the position of the battleship, and used time to lock the target, successfully destroying 2 enemy ships. However, the dizziness came again, and his visual line began to blur, and the alarm inside the simulated roller reminded him that his mental burden had reached its limit. Stop! Yu Qinghua closed the system and walked to him, with a slight lingering in her language. It was beyond my expectations for being able to do this for the first time. But the time backtracking is too much for beginners, so that's all that will stop today. Chenghan gasped and smiled reluctantly. It's okay, I can do it. Don't be strong. Qing interrupted him, her temperament was unquestionable. You are a new member of the patrol team, so there is no need to rush to express yourself. Take a night off and have an urgent task tomorrow, waiting for you to experience the battle. Urgent task? Chenghan was stunned, with a flash of expectation in his eyes. A rebel ship was detected approaching a time point and tried to tamper with history. Their goal was to have an international war in the early 23rd century. If successful, the consequences would be unbelievable. You and I will form a team and intercept them. Chenghan felt nervous when he heard it. Although the training just now made him exhausted, he felt as if he could truly participate in the task of protecting the timeline. I understand, I will prepare, he said seriously. The next day, Chenghan arrived at the berthing area early. The blade of time and space has been fully inspected by the technical personnel of the patrol team. The energy core is full, and the weapon system is in its best state. Qing stood aside, docking her specialty warship Silver Frost on her side, a light striking ship with extremely high speed and flexibility. Are you ready? Qing looked at him, her eyes carrying a test. You can come out anytime. Chenghan patted his chest and grinned. The two boarded their respective battleships, quickly left the space station, and jumped towards the target seat. On the way, Yang Qing introduced the mission details to him through a communication device. The shadow of this rebel ship belongs to a group called Undercurrent. They have been trying to break the timeline and have greater support behind it. Your mission is to cooperate with me and prevent them from entering the time period. If the situation is critical, you can use the time limit, but the time retracement cannot be done. Is it absolutely useless, understand? I understand. Chenghan responded, clasped the rod tightly, and his eyes closed the navigation map. Not long after, the two arrived at the target star field, and a dark ship appeared far away, and unstable energy waves scattered around them. Chenghan glanced at the thunder and found that the shadow number was approaching a time point that flashed the blue light. They are going in. Chenghan shouted hurriedly. Stop them! Xian Qing ordered, and Silver Shuang was the first to accelerate the launch, and the energy cannon continued to fire, trying to attract the attention of Black Shadow. However, the other side's shield was unusually solid and the gunfire was almost ineffective. Chenghan, start the time to create an attack window for me. Qing's voice sounded. Chenghan clicks the head and activates the time module quickly, and the battle is instantly calm. He adjusted the position of the time and space blade and fired a high-energy cannon on the shield core of the shadow number. When the time resumes flow, the artillery fire accurately hits, and the shield energy of the shadow number drops to 30%. Fuck beautifully! Xian Qing praised. Silver Shuang took advantage of the opportunity to rake, and several consecutive guides directly hit the other party's shield, blowing a huge gap into the body. However, the shadow did not retreat, but instead released several small unmanned aircraft from the gap and rushed towards the two. Chenghan was busy responding to the situation. Although the blade of time and space was powerful, it looked a little clumsy when facing this kind of flexible goal. Qing, I'm stuck, he shouted, evading. Stop, I'll support. Qing's Silver Frost quickly changed direction, and shot several unmanned aircraft with accurate shots. But at this moment, the main gun of the shadow suddenly accumulated energy, and a terrifying energy wave rushed towards the blade of time and space. Chenghan saw that he could not hide, and suddenly passed the training of time backtracking in his brain. He bit his teeth tightly, exercised concentration, and activated the backtracking module. A strong sense of dizziness came, but he forced himself to go back to 10 seconds ago and successfully avoided the fatal blow. Chenghan, did you use backtrack? There was a burst of surprise and grief in Ching's voice. Didn't I say I didn't use it before I had to? Sorry, but I have no other way. Chenghan gasped, his head was bursting, but his eyes were still calm. We have to solve them quickly, otherwise the time period would not be saved. Ching was silent for a moment, then her words were calm and down. Okay, you're very happy this time. Cooperate with me, we will directly break into their core engine. The two quickly adjusted the war. Chenghan used the time slot again to create a short attack window. The silver frost number directly hit the engine position of the black shadow number and threw a high explosion guide. With a loud noise, the engine of the shadow was finally reported, and the entire ship began to lose control and headed towards the depths of the starry sea. The mission is completed, the time is safe. Ching relaxed her voice and told Chenghan through the communication device, it's a good job, a newcomer. You can do this in the first mission, you are stronger than I imagined. Chenghan grinned, but his smile had not yet fully opened. A quiet noise suddenly came from the communication device, followed by a low and cold voice. Time Patrol Team, do you think you stopped the shadow number and ended? This is just the beginning. Tell the boy who drove the time and space blade, Zhao was waiting for him. Zhao? Chenghan was shocked and looked at Ching suddenly. Who is this guy? Why do you know me? Ching's face also darkened and said in a low voice, Zhao is the leader of the stars and one of the behind-the-scenes supporters of the Undercurrent group. He has been looking for the blade of time and space to try to use its power to adapt history. This rebel operation is likely to be his plan behind the scenes. Chenghan clenched his fists tightly, and his family's faces flashed in his brain. He didn't know if Zhao had anything to do with his family's misunderstanding, but the name undoubtedly made his desire for the truth stronger. Ching, I want to know more about Zhao Xiao. His vogue must be almost unquestionable. With my father's whereabouts, your patrol team's information network, can you find it? Ching looked at him, was silent for a moment before she spoke slowly. I will do my best to help you. But you must understand that Zhao is not an ordinary enemy, and the force behind him is far beyond our imagination. If you want to face him, you must become stronger. I will. Chenghan pointed and his eyes turned back to the depths of the starry sea. In that endless darkness, there seemed to be more secrets hidden, and the answers he had been looking for many years. The engine of the time and space blade was activated again, and the two warships returned to the base shoulder. A group of flames have already ignited in Chenghan's heart, not only to protect the timeline, but also to uncover the past group and find the lost family. The blade of time and space plotted a silver light in the sea of stars. Chenghan sat in the driving force, his eyes locking the data flow on the holographic screen. The task that had just ended made his heart not calm down completely. Zhao's name was like a thorn, deeply penetrated his brain. The voice of Ching in the communication device is rising from time to time and is reporting to him the latest developments of the Patrol Team Information Network. Chenghan, I just received the news from the newsletter. Ching's words were as quiet as ever, but the confrontation was solemn. Some data fragments were extracted from the slaying of the shadow. After decoding, it was found that Zhao was planning a large-scale operation. Their goal was a core time point, located in the depths of the Sirius system. If this point was destroyed, the 23rd century star pattern would be completely modified, and it might even lead to the collapse of human civilization. Chenghan's eyebrows were locked tightly, and his fingers unconsciously tapped the rod. Core time period? What's the difference between this and ordinary period? In simple terms, the core point is one of the pillars of time, which directly affects the historical trends of many galaxies, explains Ching. For example, this point in the Sirius system is related to the first large-scale conflict between the human alliance and the alien races in the early 23rd century. If Zhao succeeds in tampering with this history, the alliance may fail and the current international order will not exist. What are you waiting for? Chenghan was anxious. We have to act immediately and stop him. Don't be anxious. A quiet voice in Ching's voice. The information shows that Zhao's secret base is hidden in a dark cloud of Sirius, and its location is extremely confusing. His fleet is of considerable size, and there are also a large number of automatic defense systems, which will only be covered by the entire army. We need to formulate a careful plan. Chenghan pointed a little. Although he was anxious, he also understood that it made sense for Yu Qing to say. He leaned against the seat and asked, "What's your plan?" The information group has locked the approximate range of dark object clouds, but the specific location still needs further exploration. Ching continued, "I will lead a team to dive into the galaxy with you, and first use an unmanned detector to scan the enemy base's layout. You are responsible for driving the time-space blade and providing time control support. If you find Zhao's tracking, we will directly launch a rush to destroy his main force and prevent him from approaching the spot." "It sounds good." Chenghan grinned. "Then it's settled. When will it come out?" "Now." Ching's answer was not delayed. "I have already called a team, 3 raids and 2 support ships, and gathered in the parking area of number 3 of the space station in half an hour. You first go back to the base to recharge your energy, check the system of the time and space blade to ensure that there is no loss." "Received." Chenghan responded and quickly adjusted the course. The engine of the time and space blade emitted a low bird and flew towards the patrol team base. Half an hour later, Chenghan drove the newly repaired time and space blade to the mooring area, and Ching and other team members were already ready to be released. Her Silver Frost signal was parked in the front. Next to it were 3 raids with patrol logos, equipped with high-energy laser cannons and obscuring modules, which were obviously designed for the dive combat. The 2 support ships are responsible for logistics and defense, with larger body and extremely high shield energy strength. "Chenghan, come." Ching stood on the guide platform in the mooring area and waved to him. Chenghan walked quickly and found that the holographic projection in front of her was showing the map of the Sirius system, and the area of dark clouds was marked as awesome. "This is our target area." Ching pointed to the map and said, "Dark object clouds interfere with the thunder signal, so we cannot jump directly into it. We must gradually approach from the edge of the galaxy. Your time-space blade is our core combat force. Once you encounter an enemy, you will use the time-space chain to create a war advantage, but remember that if you have to go back, you will never need to use it." "I understand." Chenghan pointed and glanced at other team members. They are all veterans of the patrol team with serious faces, with heavy fighting breathing scattered on their bodies. Although he is a newcomer, Chenghan felt a kind of trust from their eyes, trust in the blade of time and space. "Okay, I won't say much, let's go." With a command from Ching, everyone quickly boarded their respective battleships. The 6 ships formed a tight team, and the engines started at the same time, turning into streams of light, disappearing into the depths of the starry sea. Sirius is located in a remote area of the Silver River Galaxy, with sparse surrounding astral storms filled with unstable energy storms. When Chenghan and his group arrived at the edge of the galaxy, a huge cloud of dark objects appeared on the thunder, like a group of black fogs in the sea of stars, devouring all light. The latest signal was severely disturbed and switched to manual navigation mode. The system prompt of the blade of time and space sounded. Chenghan held the rod tightly and walked forward carefully with the Silver Frost sign in. The entire team is slow to speed, and the obscuring module is fully activated to try to avoid the enemy's detection. Release the unmanned detector. Through the communication device, several small detectors flew out of the support ship and quickly penetrated into the dark clouds. In less than a few minutes, the detector's screen was returned, showing a huge base hidden in the black fog. There are dozens of ships around the base, as well as dense automatic turrets, which are amazing in defense. This scale is even more impressive than we imagined. Chenghan couldn't help but say in a low voice as he looked at the screen. "It's true." Ching's words were also a bit solemn. There is a flag in the core area of the base, and the energy fluctuations are extremely strong. It is likely that it is Zhao's main force Black Pill. No. If it can be destroyed, the enemy's command system will collapse and our calculations will be greatly improved. What are you waiting for? Chenghan clamped his fist. Just jump right. No. Wei Qing refused. The firepower of the turret outside the base is too strong, and it will only be completely defeated. We have divided the troops. We have a rushing ship to attract fire from the side wings. You have a support ship and a time-space blade to break through from the front. Use the time to clear the turret, and then directly blacken the turret. Understand? I understand. Chenghan responded and immediately ordered the support team leader, follow me, open the shield, and be ready to resist the first wave of firepower. The team quickly divided into two groups, and the Qing's thrust team ran from the side wings. Chenghan Yu took the lead of the time and space blade and two support ships to approach the front of the base. When they entered the enemy's detection range, the base's automatic turret immediately started, and dozens of energy artillery fire rushed over like a heavy rain. The shield energy drops to 85%, please counter immediately. The system prompt of the blade of time and space sounds up. Chenghan bit his teeth and quickly activates the time module. The time module is activated, the time lock mode is activated, lasting time, 5 seconds. The mechanical sound returned coldly, the battleground stopped instantly, and the artillery fire solidified in midair. Chenghan quickly adjusted his body and fired high-energy cannons at the recent several turrets. As time resumed flow, the turret was instantly destroyed, and the explosion of fire illuminated the dark clouds. Fuck beautifully, the support team leader shouted through the communication device, stay forward and we cover you up. Chenghan pointed at the head and led the team to continue to push forward. Whenever the enemy's firepower is too dense, he starts the time cradles, creates short attack windows, and destroys the turrets one by one. Although this kind of war is extremely effective, the frequent use of the time module has gradually aggravated his mental burden, and fine beads of sweat have been poured out on the base. At the same time, Yu Qing's raid team also successfully attracted the attention of some ships on the enemy, and the battle on the side wings was also fierce. Her silver frost flew through the enemy's ships, accurately hitting the opponent's shield weakness, and successfully dragging several main ships. Chenghan, how's your progress? Qing's voice came from the communication device, and there was a burst of explosions in the background. Half the fortress that has destroyed half of the front is approaching the core of the base. Chenghan replied gaspingly, but the enemy's reinforcements have begun to encircle, we have to speed up. I understand, hold on, I will deal with the enemy on the side wing as quickly as possible and get along with you, said Qing. Chenghan gritted his teeth and continued to lead the team to break in. When they finally broke through the outer defense and came to the core area of the base, a huge black flag was caught in their eyes. The ship is thousands of meters long, and its body emits an ominous dark red light. The head of the ship is engraved with a skull mark, which is Zhao's seat, the black purifier. This guy is indeed here. Chenghan's eyes turned cold, and his fingers quickly operated on the control panel, ready to launch an attack. However, the shield energy around the black lantern was strongly separated, and the main gun of the time and space blade only reduced the shield energy by less than 5%. Warning! The target shield has extremely high energy, it is recommended to find weak points or increase the attack strength. The system prompts to sound. Where is the weakness? Chenghan hurriedly swiped the screen and tried to find a breakthrough. At this time, a low and cold sound suddenly came from the communication device, carrying heavy ridicule. Boy from the Time Patrol team, I didn't expect you to come and die. Zhao's voice suddenly sounded, the blade of time and space is indeed a good thing, but unfortunately, the person who drives it is too young. Do you think you can deal with my black tin number by relying on a few times of time? Make a dream. Chenghan felt nervous and gritted his teeth and responded, Zhao, stop talking. What good will the broken timeline have for you? The entire galaxy will collapse, and you can't escape. Ha ha, collapse? Zhao laughed, his voice full of disdain, boy, you don't understand the power of time at all. As long as I change history, I can become the master of the new order. By then, whether the galaxy collapses or rebuilds is all up to me. You are crazy. Chenghan gritted his teeth and was about to start the time cradle again. The black light suddenly released a strong energy wave, directly interfering with the system of the blade of time and space. Warning! The time module was interfered with unknown interference and could not be started at a time. The mechanical sounded, and Chenghan's face changed. Unexpectedly, Zhao had the technology to counterattack time. Chenghan, be careful. His ship has been equipped with a time interferer, which can block your module in a short time. Qing's voice erection echoed, I have solved the side wing enemy and are coming to support me. You can hold him first. Hold it? How to drag it? Chenghan watched the main gun of the Heijing begin to accumulate energy, and his heart became nervous. He quickly adjusted his body and tried to rely on the high-speed flash of the time and space blade to avoid attacks, but the opponent's artillery fire covered the area, and several energy waves passed by the body, and the shield energy quickly dropped to 50%. It won't work. Chenghan gritted his teeth and suddenly a thought flashed in his brain. He lowered his head and looked at the control panel, his eyes falling on an inactivated functional module, the label showing time acceleration. Time accelerates? What is this? He murmured, but the situation was urgent and there was no time to hesitate. He suddenly pressed the start button, and the system prompted the sound immediately. The time acceleration module is activated, and the local time flow rate is increased by 200%, and the duration is 10 seconds. Warning! This function has a high load on the body and drivers. Please use it with caution. The next moment, Chenghan only felt that everything around was unusually slow. The enemy's artillery was clearly visible, and even the energy flow of the black purifier shield was not sufficient. His reaction speed increased several times, and his fingers operated quickly. The time and space blade shuttled through the cannon fire like a flash. Not only did he successfully avoid all attacks, but he also found a weak point in the shield energy fluctuation. It's here! Chenghan's eyes lit up, and in the last few seconds of acceleration, he concentrated all his firepower to shoot at the weak point. A hot light column emerged, and when the time returned to normal, a crack appeared on the shield of the black purifier, and the energy value dropped to 30%. What? Zhao finally brought a shock to his voice. You actually unlocked the time to accelerate? It seems that I underestimated you. Chenghan, fuck beautifully. The sound of Qing sounded, and the Silver Frost and the crash team finally arrived and quickly joined the battle. Several warships opened fire and concentrated on attacking the shield cracks of the Black Corona number, which eventually destroyed them. The shield is broken, go! Chenghan shouted, leading the team to directly blacken the core engine of the Tiny. However, just as they were about to make a fatal blow, Zhao's voice sounded again, with a sly smile. Do you think you're going to win this? That's too naive. Before the voice was finished, the black light suddenly released a strong space wave, forming a temporary jumping door around the body. Chenghan looked at the black purse disappearing in the jumping door with a cold threat. Boy, I am determined to win the blade of time and space. Next time I meet, I will take your life. Don't die. Let him run away. Chenghan smashed the console hard, feeling unwilling. Don't chase. Qing's voice sounded, carrying a burst of fatigue. His jumping skills exceeded our expectations, and the forced pursuit would only be ambushed. At least we destroyed his base and kept the time point. We won this battle. Chenghan was silent for a while. Although he was unwilling to accept it, he also knew that Yang Qing was right. He looked down at the holographic image of the time and space blade turning on the control panel, and a complex feeling surged in his heart. The ability of time acceleration allowed him to see more potential of this warship, but at the same time he realized that Zhao's threat was not over. Qing, has the threat about my father and mother made progress? He asked in a low voice, with a burst of expectation in his voice. After a moment of silence, Qing opened her mouth. The information group found some encrypted files in the data of the Black Code and was decoded. Preliminary analysis shows that Zhao may have been related to a timeline accident many years ago, and that accident is likely to be related to the loss of your family. Chenghan's heart was shocked and his hands tightly clenched into fists. It's true that it has something to do with him, Ching. No matter what, I have to find him and ask everything. I will help you. Ching's words were determined, but you must also be mentally prepared. The power behind Zhao is far beyond our imagination. If you want to face him, you must become stronger and fully master the power of the blade of time and space. Chenghan clicked a little and turned his eyes back to the depths of the starry sea. The skeletons of dark clouds scattered after the explosion, revealing the cold starlight of the Sirius system. He knew that this battle was just the beginning, and a bigger storm was waiting for him ahead. The engine of the blade of time and space was low and the team began to return. Chenghan sat in the driving wheel, recalling Zhao's last threat in his brain, and the timeline accident mentioned by Feng Qing. His heartbeat gradually accelerated, and an unprecedented determination burned in his chest. No matter how dangerous the road ahead is, no matter how cunning Zhao is, he will find the truth, protect this sea of stars, and protect his family who have been missing for many years. The engine of the blade of time and space emitted a deep storm in the sea of stars. A stream of light was planned by the silver-white body. Chenghan sat in the driving wheel, his eyes locking the tracking signal on the holographic screen. Since the last time Zhao escaped in the Sirius system, the Time Patrol Team's information group has decoded the data in the Black Slang Bones day and night, and finally locked Zhao's new hiding place, a secret star field near the core of the Silver River Galaxy, called Black Hole Ring. The space there was extremely unstable, full of high-energy radiation and time-twisting scenes, but it was this environment that allowed Zhao to hide his crazy plans. Chenghan, are you ready? The voice of Qing was transmitted from the communication device, and her language was as cold as ever, but she was about to carry a tight thread. Her silver frost was flying shoulder to shoulder with the blade of time and space, and behind her was followed by a small team of patrol teams of elite warships. This is the biggest battle that the patrol team can adjust, because the information shows that Zhao is just running a dangerous plan inside the black hole, which may directly threaten the timeline of the entire universe. It's okay anytime. Chenghan held the rod tightly and swayed, and his voice was firm. He looked down at the time module on the control panel, and recalled the battle with Qing in his brain these few months. From the initial youth newcomer to now being able to practice the time spent in time acceleration, and even circumventing time in urgent times, he has grown into an indispensable member of the patrol team. But he knew that this battle would be his biggest test, not only to protect the timeline, but also to reveal the truth about the loss of his family. The storyline just copied Zhao's core data. Qing continued to say that his language became more and more solemn. He tried to use time technology to resurrect an ancient star overlord, the name of the Lord of Shadows. This is a pre-23rd century heritage that was evident in the 23rd century. Half of the Silver Galaxy was ruled, and later sealed in the Time Rift in an international war. If Zhao succeeds in resurrecting it, the power of the Shadow Lord is enough to destroy the existing cosmic order, and even the Time Patrol teams cannot compete. Resurrect the Overlord? Chenghan's eyebrows were locked, and his language was puzzled. How could he do it? Isn't time technology only affecting local time flow? It's true under normal circumstances. Qing explained, but the environment of the black hole ring is special. The time-twisted field there can amplify the effect of time technology. Zhao may have found a way to use the time interferers of the black hole ring and the energy field of the black hole ring to force the time rifts and release the Shadow Lord. Our mission is to stop him and destroy his ship and base before he completes the ceremony. Chenghan clicked a little, and a pressure surged in his heart, but more of it was determined. He said in a low voice, Qing, no matter what, I must catch Zhao this time and ask my father's whereabouts. He can't escape. I will help you. A warm feeling was brought to Qing's voice. But remember, the difficulty of this battle is far beyond the past, and Zhao's fleet and base defense have been fully upgraded. Your time-space blade is our only advantage, and the time control ability must be extremely effective. I understand. Chenghan took a deep breath and his eyes turned back to the depths of the starry sea. The black hole ring in front of me is almost visible. A huge black vortex swirls slowly, and the surrounding rings are filled with unstable energy storms, venting a heart-pounding feeling of pressure. All teams should pay attention to enter the obstruction mode and reduce the speed to approach the target area. Ching ordered the patrol team's battleship to quickly adjust the shape, and the obstruction module was fully activated to try to avoid the enemy's detection. Chenghan operated the blade of time and space, carefully shuttled through the energy storm. The interference signal on the thunder became stronger and stronger, indicating that they were approaching Zhao's base. Not long after, through the screen of the unmanned detector, they saw the scene inside the black hole, a huge floating base floating around the black hole. The center of the base is a large energy device, emitting strange dark purple light, and dozens of ships are surrounded by the rings, the most eye-catching of which is the black purplish number in Zhao. This scale is even more impressive than the Sirius base. Chenghan said in a low voice, and his sweat was pouring out from the head. It's true. There was also a solemn sound in Ching's voice. The energy device is moving, and the waves of the time crack have begun to form. We can't wait any longer, we must act immediately. Chenghan, you have taken the time and space blade and 2 raids to break through from the front to attract firepower. I have other warships to surround the side and attack the energy device directly. Remember, time raid and acceleration are your core combat techniques. You can use backtracking when necessary, but you must control your mental burden. Received. Chenghan responded with a sudden voice, and immediately ordered the captain of the attacking fleet, follow me, open the shield, and prepare to resist the first wave of attacks. The 2 teams quickly split. Chenghan's driving time and space blade led the way toward the front of the base. As soon as he entered the enemy's exploration range, the base's automatic turret and surrounding ships immediately opened fire, and hundreds of energy cannons rushed towards the front of the base like rainstorms. Chenghan bit his teeth and quickly started the time module. The time module is activated, the time lock mode is activated, lasting time, 5 seconds. The sound of the mechanical sound started, the battlefield suddenly stopped, and the artillery fire solidified in mid-air. Chenghan quickly adjusted the body of the ship and fired high-energy cannons on the nearest several turrets and enemy ships. As time returned to flow, the explosion of fire illuminated the darkness of the black hole ring. Surprise the ship, keep up and concentrate on fire to clean the ship. Chenghan shouted, leading the team to continue pushing forward. Whenever the enemy's firepower is too dense, he starts the time limit and creates short attack windows to destroy defense facilities one by one. Although the war is effective, the frequent use of the module gradually aggravates his mental burden, and the visual line begins to become a little blurred. At the same time, the side wing team of Ching also successfully attracted the attention of some enemies. Her silver frost flexibly shuttled between the fleet and accurately hit the outer shield of the energy device. However, the black tin suddenly drove out from the core of the base, the main gun accumulated energy, and directly rushed to the Qing dynasty's fleet. Qing, be careful. Chenghan shouted through the communication device, and at the same time, the activation time acceleration module was started and the picture was used to support it. The time flow rate increased by 200%. He successfully avoided several artillery fire and came to the vicinity of Fengqing, but the firepower of the black light was too strong, and the shield energy of the time and space blade quickly dropped to 60%. Chenghan, don't worry about me, focus on the frontal breakthrough. Qing's voice burst out anxiously, the shield of the energy device is about to break. As long as it is destroyed, Zhao's plan will be poured in. Chenghan gritted his teeth, and although he was unwilling to give up, he still turned around and led the thrust into the core of the base. However, just as they were about to approach the energy device, the Black Elbow suddenly released a strong time interference wave, and the system of the time and space blade instantly lost its spirit. Warning! The time module was interfered and could not be started at a time. The mechanical sound came, and Chenghan's face changed. Unexpectedly, Zhao's interference technology was upgraded again. Ha ha ha, boy, your time is useless in front of me. Zhao's voice came from the communication device, carrying heavy ridicule. The Black Purifier has equipped the latest time suppression field. The module of the blade of time and space is a waste iron in this area. Now, let me die obediently. The main gun of the Black-Purple #1 was once again accumulating energy, and a terrifying energy wave hit the blade of time and space. Chenghan saw that he could not hide, and suddenly a crazy thought flashed through his brain. He quickly switched to manual mode, and with the high speed of the warship in his reaction, he brushed the edges of the energy waves, leaving only 30% of the shield energy. Chenghan, are you crazy? The voice of Ching was filled with surprise. Why, the time module is suppressed? Are you still trying to force it? No other way. Chenghan gasped and his eyes closed the black elbow. Ching, you continue to attack the energy device, I will hold Zhao. As long as his ship is there, the interference will not disappear. Before the speech ended, Chenghan finally ordered the sudden ship to disperse its firepower. He drove the blade of time and space to directly blacken the tiny number and tried to fight in close combat. Although the time module cannot be used, the firepower and maneuverability of the time and space blade is still strong. He avoided several attacks and successfully approached the side wing of the Black Pulse, and launched violent attacks on its shield. Boy, you really have some skills. Zhao was surprised in his voice, but soon he returned to disdain. However, the game ends here. Black light number, start the time crack simulator. The next moment, the black-purple light suddenly radiated from the body of the black-purple, and the space around began to twist violently. Chenghan only felt a strong suction force pulling the blade of time and space. The system alarm sounded, warning. When the time crack wave was detected, the structure of the ship was threatened. Please leave immediately. Time crack simulator. Chenghan gritted his teeth and tried to adjust the revolver, but the suction was too strong, and the time and space blade was slightly pulled towards the center of the crack. Through the porthole, he saw a huge group of black shadows appearing in the depths of the cracks, emitting a heart-pounding feeling of pressure that was the Lord of the Shadow. Chenghan, leave quickly. The Lord of Shadow is being summoned. The voice of Ching almost roared, the shield of the energy device has been broken. I am launching a high-explosive guide. You can't be sucked in. I know. Chenghan gritted his teeth and thought about solutions quickly in his brain. The time module was suppressed, and ordinary means could not remove the suction force of the crack, but his eyes suddenly fell on an urgent option that had not been activated on the control panel, time overload. System, what is the time to load? He asked hurriedly. Time overload strengthens breaking through time module limitations, and releases all time control capabilities in short time, including the combined effects of slugging, acceleration and backtracking. Warning! This function has a high load on the body and drivers, which may cause system collapse or consciousness damage. After use, the module will enter a long-term cooling. The mechanical sounded and cold. Fight! Chenghan gritted his teeth and pressed the start button. In an instant, a strong wave of energy exploded from the inside of the blade of time and space, forming a short time frame around the body, and the suction force of the crack was interrupted. He quickly operated the warfare to detach the danger zone, and at the same time fired a high-energy cannon on the black light, hitting the core components of the time crack simulator accurately. Room! There was a huge sound, and the simulated device of the black purifier was destroyed. The time crack began to collapse. The shadow of the Lord of Shadows let out an unwilling roar, and was then swallowed up and did not penetrate into the depth of the crack. At the same time, Ching's guide successfully hit the energy device, and the entire base burst out with dazzling flames, turning into countless fragments and scattered in the black hole ring. Jiao, your plan is over. Chenghan gasped and shouted through the communication device. Don't die, you guy. Zhao's voice was filled with anger, but the shield of the black skull was almost collapsed, and his body was often slapped, and it seemed that he could not continue the battle. Do you think this is over? I will come back, the blade of time and space is mine. Want to run? No way. Chenghan gritted his teeth. Although the time passed, his head was so painful that he still snatched the driving force, and together with Ching's team, he launched a last blow to the black corpse. Several energy cannons emerged at the same time, and the black purgation number was finally overwhelmed. The body was torn apart, turning into a huge fireball, disappearing into the darkness of the black hole ring. The goal is confirmed to be destroyed. Zhao is dead. Ching's voice sounded, carrying a burst of fatigue and excitement. Chenghan, we are fucked beautifully. We have kept the timeline, the Lord of Shadow is permanently sealed, and the order of the universe is preserved. Chenghan leaned on the seat, gasping heavily, and the dizziness in the sea of his brain lasted for a long time. The post-mortem symptoms of time made his mind a little blurred, but he still asked with great force, Ching, Zhao's ship data, have you saved it? My dad's rope. I know. Ching's voice sounded a little softer. The information group has extracted the data core from the slaying of the Black Corpse and is being decoded. You have to rest first, and I will tell you the results after returning to the base. Chenghan clicked the head, closed his eyes, and let the warship return in automatic navigation mode. The energy storm of the black hole ring gradually subsided, and the starry sea returned to peace, but his heart could not calm down. Although Zhao was defeated, can the truth about his family's failure be revealed? A lot of hope ignited deep in his heart, and a lot of anxiety ignited. After a few hours, the Time and Space Blade and the patrol team returned to the space station. Chenghan walked out of the door and saw Ching standing in the parking area waiting for him, holding a holographic data disk in his hand, his face slightly complex. Chenghan, the data decoding is completed. Ching said in a low voice, passing the data disk, there is indeed a thread from your father in Zhao's recording. They may still be alive. What? Chenghan was shocked, and he hurriedly picked up the data disk and quickly adjusted the content. His eyes swept over the screen quickly, and data showed that his parents did not really miss that year, but were rolled into a timeline accident that caused them to be trapped in a time rift in another galaxy. Zhao had just tried to use them as experimental subjects to study the shuttle technology of time cracks, but it was ultimately unsuccessful. Are they in the lyric system? Chenghan murmured, with a flash of hope in his eyes. Ching, is this true? Are they still alive? The data is real. Ching was slightly singular, and her language was firm, but the time rift of the lyric galaxy was extremely unstable, and the risk of going to rescue was very high. Chenghan held the data tightly, his eyes slightly red. He said in a low voice, thank you, Ching. Over the years, I have always thought that they have already, unexpectedly, there is still hope. I will wait, no matter how long I will take them back. Yu Qing patted his shoulder and smiled, you have done a good job. Just hit Zhao, guard the timeline, you are the hero of the patrol team. Next, let's take a break. The time module's overload will cause a lot of damage to your spirit, and you must recover. Chenghan pointed his head and looked at the sea of stars far away. Although the battle ended, his journey seemed to have just begun. The lyric galaxy, the time rift, the figures of family members. These are like a light, guiding him in the direction of his progress. A few months later, a grand ceremony was held at the base of the time touring team, commemorating the victory of Chenghan and Fengqing in the black hole. Chenghan was officially awarded the title of Time Guardian and became the youngest legendary hero in the history of the patrol team. His time and space blade docked at the honor exhibition area of the base, and his silver-white body shone brightly under the light, attracting the attention of countless team members. Chenghan, what do you think? He has become a great hero. Ching walked to him, holding a glass of drinks, and talking in her language. Chenghan smiled and said with a headshot, I don't care whether a hero is a hero. I just hope that the rescue operation of the Lin Galaxy can be achieved sooner. Also, the safety of time, this is the most important thing. The sunny ones look softer, don't worry, the patrol team will not give up anyone. We will do our best to do your dad. As for the timeline, with you and the blade of time and space, I believe there will be no second chance. Chenghan looked at the starry sky far away, and a warm feeling surged in his heart. He knew that although there were still challenges ahead, peace at this moment was not easy. He grew from an ordinary international carrier to a hero who protects the universe. The hardships and harvests along the way made him understand his mission better. the sea of stars is boundless, and time and space flow. Chenghan clenched his fists tightly and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. No matter what the future holds, he will continue to move forward, guarding this starry sky, and guarding the hope of losing and reaping. The engine of the blade of time and space was quietly sleeping in the base, waiting for the next start. Chenghan's story has also become an immortal story in this sea of stars.